are once again. It is me, Richie Scott, and I have two people here who I'm so excited to be here. First, we have Mr. Anthony Anderson,
Hey.
creator, writer, director, actor in the hit series Anacostia, the web series.
Yes.
Give it up, give it up. And we have here Miss Alexis Smith, also an actor, actress on the web series, but you do a lot of other things, and we'll get to that in a second as well. But first, I want to say congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the Indie Series Award for Best Ensemble.
Yes. Thank you.
That is like huge. I can actually celebrate that myself because I'm on the show.
Yes.
Holla!
Congratulations, your first win. It's number 7. It's
Are
our
you serious?
seventh win.
That's
there.
crazy.
It's number 7. I think we're tied for all-time winning series there with 2 other shows, I think.
Yeah, it's
so
like-
it was our 31st overall nomination. So.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a blessing there.
So we can't even stop there because now we can add daytime Emmy
Yes.
nominations to that.
God is good.
Like how does like that's gotta feel like for you, especially for you as the kind of creator and the person who like actually started this. Like how does that feel for you? Like that's daytime Emmy.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Actually, I kid you not, and I think Alexis can attest to it. I really have not had a chance to like really digest it yet because it all happened really, really, really fast. The nominations date, first of all, the nomination date, announcement date was pushed back because it was originally supposed to be on my birthday on March 26th.
Right.
So it got pushed back, and then I left for LA the next day, and they said it was going to be the 31st, and I was like, the odds that we would be nominated, I was just like, oh, all right. Even though I felt that the submission episode fit a lot of things that I felt like maybe the judges would like, I just never really thought 100% that it would happen. And I was shopping with some other cast members in LA, and they started tweeting that the nominations were being read on the talk. And I still didn't pay any attention to it. I was like, no need to get myself worked up for nothing. And next thing you know, I got a phone call saying Martha Byrne had got nominated for the show in the brand new category that they added, Outstanding Performer in a New Approaches Drama Series. So I was like, oh, cool. I was like, that's what's up. And even then I was like, okay, we didn't get nominated because clearly if we did, the phone call would have said, okay, y'all got nominated. So I was in the process of texting her, telling her congratulations when the second call came in and was like, yo, how do you feel? I was like, I feel great. Still thinking about her nomination.
Right.
And they were like, well, you sound happy, but you should really be happy. I'm like, well, I am, but I'm trying to call this woman at the same time. They're like, have you seen the list? I'm like, no, I haven't seen the full list yet. I just heard about her nomination. It was like, you might want to check that list out. And when I checked the list out and saw our name, it was just like,
What was that moment like?
We
What
got-
did you do?
I screamed at the top of my lungs in the middle of the mall, and it was so loud that they sent security. We almost got kicked. They were about to kick us out of the mall because of the ruckus we were.
You can't be
creating.
daytime Emmy nominated and get kicked out of them all.
Well,
I just don't want that to happen.
But the scream was loud. I mean, it was people came out of their stores like looking in the courtyard to find out what was going on. But it was really loud.
And what about you? How did you feel about
They
that?
well, I was actually in the bathroom. So I was taking a shower. I know. I was taking a shower and I was staying at my god sister's house. And so she said, girl, your phone is ringing. I said, okay, just answer it. And so she said, Marion called you. And I'm like, okay, Mary doesn't call. Because this thing, when we in LA, they are movers and shakers. I can barely get a hold of them. And so I said, why is Marion calling me? So I call her back. She said, girl. I said, what? She said, we just got nominated for an Emmy. I just said, ah! And I was like, I can't believe it. And my sister's like, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? I was like, I'll tell you when I get out. She's like, what happened? And I told her, and it was surreal, you know, and I looked online and I saw,
Your name.
my name there next to the Emmy, you know, it's not a fake
That's
one, not
crazy.
a plastic one. It's like I'm like, is this real? Is this the real Emmys? And it's real,
Yeah,
you know, and he asked me,
especially
he's like,
when
how
you
do
read
you
down
feel?
the
It's
list.
still surreal to
When
me.
you read down the list and you see Wendy Williams and Steve Harvey
Yeah.
and all these Yo Gabba Gabba and all this other type of television stuff that you're like amongst that, it's like it completely takes you out of body. But then you have to sort of get back in the body because the next day was the other award show. So
Right,
you have to sort of snap back into everything, and then that's when the emails start to come in for the point of contact from the Emmys saying they need this, they need this, they need this, they need to know who's coming, they need to know if they're bringing a guest, they need to know everything. They need, it's every day. There's like usually something in my email from them, and they need it like now because there's no, usually when you get nominated, they usually give you a slag time of like a month and a half.
Right.
We didn't get that this year, so we got nominated on 31st, and the award show is the 24th and 26th. So
Wow.
our version, so our show is the 24th,
Okay.
and the televised version is the 26th.
Okay.
So, and I think there's 65 categories that they're giving out on at our category, and I think we're number 65.
Yeah.
So we're the
Wow.
last ones with free
Wow.
liquor. Can you imagine?
Hey, listen, we love some free liquor. So listen, talk about, we'll scratch that because I want to go back a little bit. Tell us about how you got started with Anacostia, because just for people who have not seen the show, just give a little bit of information about how you started and what it's about and your role in it.
Well, I started with the fact of that I was always a huge fan of daytime dramas,
Right.
Especially like all my.
Wait, what was your favorite?
As the World Turns.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
which explains the whole.
It does.
But so the one thing that those shows lacked was the abundance of a African American driven storyline.
Right.
It's like even though some of the shows had African American characters, they weren't always driving a driving force in a storyline. They were always the side person to the storyline. And even with The Young and the Restless, with Victoria Rowell and Christophe St. John, that storyline, it was very, even now, it's still very.
She was always in and out.
It's very in and out. It's not leading. So.
Right.
So I just decided that I wanted to create something to where African American stories was the focal point,
Right.
and it just became the show. The show is basically about 4 friends in the community of Anacostia and their everyday dealings with life, love, sex, secrets, everything else. I'm not only the creator, but also the writer. And this season, I've had a chance to sort of step back from directing, which has been a blessing because now
Yeah.
I can actually concentrate on my performance.
Because you also have a role.
Yeah, because I also have a role. So it's a lot of hats, but at this point, at the 4th season, it's sort of like I can sort of turn the reins over to other local directors that I've sort of admired their work, and they can come in, like Harold Jackson and Ann Wells, can come in and actually take the reins, and I can actually concentrate on being an actor because everything else on my side is done. So, and I think that I think one of our indie soap nominations was lead actor. So
Yeah, it was.
lead actor nomination, the 4th one. So
Nice.
I didn't win, but I won it before.
He's already got it.
I tried it before, so, yeah.
So it's cool that you're actually here because, little known fact, we auditioned together.
Yes,
That's what I
we
think is really, really
did.
cool
Yeah.
is that we had that opportunity. What was that like for you, that process going in that day?
Well, it was funny because he actually had me auditioning with other people. And so,
I remember.
there was another guy there, and no shade, but, there's a.
Oh, no. Tell us.
You always say that right before you say something terrible. There's a different chemistry you feel with certain people.
Right.
And so the chemistry wasn't quite the same.
Right.
And so then he's like, okay, well, stay in here. I'm going to bring somebody else. And so you came in, and I was just like, who's this beautiful man? I'm just playing. No, but and realistically, you're really nice, you're really sweet. And the chemistry worked, and I was trying to give it my all. When you're in an audition, of course, you're trying to ensure that you get the role,
Right.
but you're trying to give something so that the person that's with you is going off of you, and you can build something and make it look like an actual scene,
Right.
and you were able to do that. And so I think that was great. And then actually, the funny thing is, I saw one of your headshots. I think you have like a orange sweater on. I thought you looked like Common. That was in my mind. I was like, he looks like
I've heard that before.
Really? What's the compliment?
But
He's got an
thank
Oscar,
you,
so
thank
go
you,
ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day.
Yeah.
It was funny because when I read with you, I was nervous.
Really?
I was really nervous because it was a really, really intense scene.
It was.
And I was like, I was like, I can either, I'm just gonna go for it. Not even thinking about what I look like or anything like that. So what was that like for you? What is it like for you to watch people audition?
Honestly,
What do you look for? Because
honest-
I've had people come to me and ask me, how can I be on the show? And I'm like, I'm not a casting director.
it is probably one of the most tedious jobs that I have to do on
Really?
the show. Yeah, it's like if I didn't have to, I probably wouldn't be there. Like that is my least favorite thing to do is audition actors because I don't like being in a position to where someone is so amped up to
Right.
want to work on the show and then they don't get it, and you never want to be that person to tell them that they don't get it, or like you don't send them that email saying that they got the part.
Yeah.
So I would rather not be in the auditions. But when I did try that and I had somebody else do the auditions, they would send me tapes and I'd be like,
That's
yeah,
not, that's not what I'm
like
looking
this
for.
is like not going to work. So I sort of have to navigate my time. But usually when you came in, I usually give an intense scene because everybody can play straight dialogue, but
Right.
it takes you some talent to like really step outside your comfort zone like that as soon as you say action and you're into a very intense scene. So I usually give people that just to sort of like gauge and see what they can do. And you and Alexis had like great chemistry, and I knew what I was going to do with Tia Day
Right.
and your character, and I said I need somebody that was going to really play off of Tia because Tia is really ferocious when she comes on the
She
set.
is.
And so I said, and so you fit that, and then Alexis for what she's coming up
Right.
has come up. She fit that too. So fortunately, everything that I was looking for that day, it only took that one day,
Okay.
and so I was able to walk away from it and get everybody that I needed.
Okay. And you also, before you went to the Indie Series Awards, you were at the Stellars.
Yes.
Tell us about that experience.
Okay, so I auditioned sometime last year, and I currently sing with Ricky Dillard, who's a gospel artist.
Right.
He had a #1 single, Amazing, that was out for about 30 weeks. He's Grammy nominated. And so we went to perform at the Stellars, and we actually came home with 4 Stellars as well.
Hey.
So that's a blessing.
So you just had like an award-winning,
It was
like
amazing, and that's what I was telling
week
him was
and
because-
weekend.
Yeah, and it was at Vegas. So I got to Vegas, we did the Stellars, and of course I was there with all those celebrities, so that was already like a high.
Right.
Then I leave Vegas to go to LA. Then we get to the Indie Series Awards. We win that, and then while we're there, we find out we're Emmy nominated. On top of that, I said, hey, God is good. This has just been an amazing. And I think I was gone for about 9 days. So I almost thought it was too good to be true. I was like, Lord, don't let my plane crash. Because, it's always like something great happens and then like tragedy. So I was like, this is too good to be true. I said,
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm amazed. And he's literally showing off to me because it just back to back to back. It literally happened like that.
So you had to actually leave your son. What was
Yeah.
that? How was that? Because you were gone, what, a week?
I was
I couldn't
gone-
be there,
I
but
was
you
gone for about a
guys
week.
looked like you had a great time.
Yeah, I had a great time, but that's the thing. I mean, I had an excellent time, but my voice still hasn't come back fully from it. But being a parent, that it's always a guilt thing. I have a great support system. Fortunately, that support system includes my mother is on the my house is on one street and my mother's house is on the adjacent
Convenient.
street.
I know that.
So all I technically have to do is walk across the field or drive to the next street and drop them off. So
Okay.
I have that, but it's a lot of guilt. And so
Yeah.
sometimes it's like you feel like you are the worst parent in the world, but at the
Yes.
same time you know that you're doing something to better his future.
Yeah, my
It's
daughter had a
crazy.
meltdown.
Are you serious?
Yes, my family called me. It was supposed to be her bedtime. And she called at like 10 o'clock. You're not coming back. I said, yes, I'm coming back. Are you telling the truth? I said, yes, and she's 5. So, there's only so much you can explain to them.
Yeah.
And, anytime I leave, it's like meltdown. I don't want you to leave. I don't want you to go. And just like he said, you're trying to grind and do what you need to do so that you can provide a better life for them and better
Sure.
opportunities. And so it is definitely a guilt trip.
You can see
It's
it,
definitely a guilt trip.
and he knows it because he overcome. It's because he has me around his fingers. So I'm sure Sunday when I get him, the first place we're probably going to go is to Foot Locker.
I know that's right.
Hey, I mean,
So
listen,
he
you
can
better
get he
make
gets
up
some
for
tennis
it.
shoes
Okay.
and some other stuff. And so I mean, you're not supposed to buy your children, but but you know, it's like it's definitely. I mean, he knows what I mean, he knows what I do. Sometimes he works my phone better than I work his phone. Well, better than I work my phone. So sometimes I catch him watching the show, which I would prefer him not to do. But yeah, so he understands, and you know, he tells his teachers and everything else, and so it's definitely a juggling act when you have
Yeah.
a child at home and you're the single parent. Yeah.
So I want to talk about, because you mentioned her earlier, Martha Byrne.
Mm-hmm.
How did that connection come about?
We actually met at the second annual Indie Series Awards in New York, and she was the host.
And wait, for those who don't know, please tell the audience who Martha Byrne really is.
Oh, well, Martha Byrne is I think she's been nominated for like 15 Emmys, and she's won like 2 Daytime Emmy Awards for playing Lily Walsh on As the World Turns. She's been on that soap for like 30 years, and she went off and broke off and started doing some other soaps, and then she did her own online web soap called Gotham, and then she was the host at the second annual Indie Series Awards, which is a big deal. It's the award show that recognizes online content. And she was the host for that year, and we were nominated, I think, for 9 that year.
Wow.
And that's the year that I won lead actor. And it was like the second to last category of that night. And I had like a nervous breakdown on stage.
Are you
because
serious?
Yeah, because I just
Crying,
didn't
bawling?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. But it's like, and I didn't expect to win that.
Right.
And so she just was talking to me afterwards, and she had said that she had liked the show, and then next thing you know, we had did another job in LA together, and we just talked, and I asked her to do the show, and she said, yeah, let me know. And she's been here for 2 seasons now.
Wow.
Yeah, just amazing.
She's a beast. Yeah.
And that's what I love even more is the fact that we could bring her own individual nomination for the Emmys.
That is awesome. So I want to talk more about Martha, Anacostia, the wins, everything. When we come back from our break, we're here with Alexis Smith, Anthony Anderson, both from Anacostia. We'll be right back.
Mom,
What?
you can't find Ichabod.
What?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Look, I had a rough day at work. I don't need you hassling me about my smoking.
Hey, I just smoke when I'm out with my friends.
Yeah, cigarettes are expensive, but I work, I pay my bills, I can afford it.
You know you gotta die something. Might as well be cancer.
What are you passing along to your kids? Quit for yourself, for your family, for your legacy. For free help, call or go online.
Just a little cough. Nothing to worry about.
Listen, I know you're upset, but it was just one date. And dating's like the stock market. There's ups and downs and ups and so always buy low.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
So we're back with Alexis and Anthony, both from Anacostia. Anacostia is an online web series, but it is Daytime Emmy nominated, Indie Series Award winning, and we have 2 of the brightest stars here today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
So we talked a little bit about your connection with Martha. I want to go back a little bit to the actual, because we talked a little bit about this just a second earlier. How does one actually get into the process of becoming Emmy nominated or Indie Series Award nominated? Like, how do you get there? Just for those who maybe have kind of wondered or asked, how does that happen?
Well, for the indie series, they actually their nomination period um, opens up in November, and basically you have to have at least 3 finished, completed episodes of your series, and it's just a matter of filling out a submission form, and you can list your actors, your actresses, your crew for like the multiple awards, and then they ask you to submit an episode.
Okay.
How
How do you choose the episode though?
that is a hard,
Because that's got to be
hard-
like a difficult thing.
that's a hard thing. It's like the Emmy process is kind of similar, but it's a little bit more regimented. Like your show has to premiere at a certain time of day in order to qualify as daytime. You have to have at least 3 episodes out. They have to be fully completed. It's $350 to submit your show, with no guarantee that it's going to be nominated.
Right.
And what I love about them is, and this is for all the teachers in the world who they say you never know when you're going to use this stuff in the real world. The Emmys make you write a 250-word essay of what your show is about, and it needs to combine what your show is about, what the submission is, and technically why you should be nominated in 250 words or less. And it's a very daunting process when you're sitting there at the computer like, okay, first I got to choose an episode. Then they want it in a certain format. You got to take you got to take all the credits out and put a slate in the beginning saying what the category is, and a slate at the end saying what the category is. You can't have anybody's name attached to it.
Right.
It's like, and you have to like really upload it, and you have to then think, what can I type in 250 words or less that's going to be adequate about what the voters are about to view, and do that.
Did you go, when you started the series, did you go into it thinking that you wanted these things, or were they just things that kind of came about as you went along?
No, because the Emmy category just came up. I mean, it's only 2 years. That particular category is only 2 years old.
Okay.
So I mean, we started in 2009.
Right.
So there was none of that. I think with the Indie Series Awards, I found out that we were nominated for that for the first time by accident. I was watching someone else's show, and they had like a little news tickler down that said, we've been nominated for 6 Indie Soap Awards. And I was like, what is that? And I clicked on the link, and it took me to the page where the nominations were, and we were on there. I was like, huh? I was like, what is this? And I contacted the organization. They were like, we were looking for you guys. Because back then, I mean, we wasn't about social media and Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. It was just put the show out there and let people watch it. But so everything that has happened, I think has been a maturation of like really hard work and determination and staying at it. And then we took a 2-year break because I was concentrating on something else. And I really wanted that to be nuanced, and that's still going, but it just didn't work out the way that I particularly wanted.
Right.
And then I knew that the time clock was ticking on if we wanted to present shows for submission, that I had to work on Anacostia, and it was really hard trying to choose the episode to submit.
Right.
And when I chose the episode, I was really happy with it. And the editor and I had got no sleep that night at all, just finishing up everything, putting it together, make sure it came out on time. But you never know when it's going to strike an audience or when it's going to win awards.
Yeah.
And really, if anybody get into it to win awards, then like you're going to fail ultimately because you're in it for the wrong reasons. I mean, I can honestly say that everything that we've gotten, it has either been because people have actually gravitated towards the show. Mm-hmm. And have really found a niche in the show, especially for it to sort of be one of the longest running African American web soaps that's out there.
Season 4.
Yeah, it's season 4 and going into season 5 in the late summer. It has actually been a very grueling process. It's been a lot of hard work, and I don't think people really understand the hard work unless they come on the set and see what goes into it. And I'm glad that I feel we've opened a lot of doors for a lot of web series in this area that have come behind us, because I don't think a lot of people knew what a web series was before we sort of came out there. And I'm glad that with this Emmy nomination, especially with us being an African American show, I'm hoping that what it happens. I'm hoping what happens ultimately is that these 2 Emmy nominations will open the door for other web soaps of ethnicity to be able to be recognized and come through the same way that we have been able to come through. And there are a lot of other things that I sort of can't talk about because they sort of don't want you to talk about with different organizations. But when you get certain emails from people that you respect and people that you have no idea have been watching your show, and they tell you that they want to honor you at this huge award show outside of the Emmys,
Right.
and you just sit there and just shake your head like, I never expected this. Because I'm dealing with such a huge cast, and the Emmy nomination and the Emmy day is fast approaching, I sort of have to make sure that everybody is where they need to be as far as flights and hotels and scheduling and everything else. So that's why I said I personally have not had a chance to like really put my head
Right.
around what has actually happened, and I probably won't until the very last minute until we step on the red carpet that day.
Well, I want to thank you both for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Alexis,
Thank you for having us.
Anthony Anderson.
Well, thank you.
Thank you guys for watching another great episode. We will be
Are you
back.
crying?
Huh?
Are you crying?
No, I'm coughing.
Oh.
Thank you for another great episode. So glad to have you here. Thank you for watching.
One time if it feels good. 2 times if it feels good. 3 times.
I'm trying not to cough, and I'm trying to hold it.
Get this man some water.
And all I could feel was like my face, my eyes are watering.
You must have been.
And I'm like, please don't say anything. Please don't say anything. And there you go.
I just didn't understand.
Oh, blind.
I just saw like this big like stream of water coming down his face, and I'm like, what
And
is?
I'm hot
like,
now.
what
You
is
gave
going?
such
I'm
a
like,
great
like a paper
interview.
towel.
I'm like, what is going? I'm like, what is
It brought
going
him to-
on?
That is such a great story.
I'm like, he's trying to get his own nomination next year.
Good night. Gracias.
Dab that forehead while you
Yes.
at it.
Okay.
He started sweating.
Okay. We're gonna try it one more time.
What now?
Camera with the light on.
I looked at that one.
Oh.
No. See, what y'all not gonna do today is that light was right there.
So when you see the light go off,
I did get an attitude real quick, right?
alright,
I didn't
it'll be
know.
reflected in your chat.
Oh!
Banging on this track. DJ run it back. Bass stack like that. If you thirsty, call it trap. We jamming in these streets and we got the block deep. We run this town, baby, with the Gucci on our feet. Turn it up a little bit louder. I wanna feel the bass when the beat drop. I'm feeling kinda nice now. Gon' get it started. Let's start the party. The energy is crazy all around me. I'm vibing and I'm jamming with the whole crew. Tonight we ain't slowing down. No. We be on 100 from my intro. It's that moment when everything comes together. Join right now.